Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Self-Defense Saturday. I'm Chris.
And I'm Tyler.
And this one is a pretty normal story that we got going for you guys, but definitely very interesting. Tyler's going to go ahead and read it for us.
Okay, this one's coming out of Louisiana. A 17-year-old is in the hospital, and both he and another 17-year-old are facing charges after allegedly attempting to carjack a New Orleans man late last week. According to police, the intended victim, a 48-year-old man, had just pulled into his driveway late that Thursday night and was walking towards the door of his home when the two teens pulled up beside him, with one of the pair pointing a gun at the man and demanding his keys. The man told police that he flung his keys and took cover under a nearby car and pulled out a pistol. He said he saw one of the teens by his vehicle pointing a gun at him. The man said that he heard someone scream an expletive. Then both teens drove away in their vehicle. The teen picked up a third person and went to the hospital. The police seized two pistols, one of them stolen from the accomplice, who told the officers the guns belonged to him, and the other wounded suspect.
Man, so this is the second story we've heard about a teenager since we started doing this, and honestly, I don't like hearing this. I understand that it's a thing and that teenagers are not all good, but it just sucks to hear that teenagers are doing these kind of crimes and that they're growing up in a way that allows them to be doing these things and not being disciplined at home, having this disciplined out of them at home.
My thing is the sheer confidence. I could not imagine, like, hey, bro, let's go steal this guy's car. I couldn't imagine doing that.
Not as teenagers. Now, I'm not going to say
anybody.
I'm not going to say that I was a good, not as even now, but I'm not going to say that I was a great teenager, but I definitely never thought about going and carjacking somebody or even pulling a gun on somebody just to try to take things from them. I never had the confidence to do something like that. So one point I want to make is this proves right here why gun control does not work. You know, criminals don't follow laws. It says right here in the story that one of the guns were stolen. Now, had the two 17-year-olds have two guns and only one stolen, realistically, both of them are stolen. Whether it's from their parents or not, they obviously don't have it within the law. It's their parents' firearm, and they probably didn't ask to take it because any decent human being would be like, no, you're not taking my gun from my house. So obviously both of these firearms are stolen. And, you know, that's the point I'm trying to make, is that gun control doesn't work. Criminals aren't going to follow the laws, and then they're going to do things like this with those firearms. There's nothing you can really do about that other than enforcing laws even heavier and also trying to, strengthen the punishments. Stop trying to be relaxed on these criminals and actually, give them hefty fines and not fines, but punishments, long-term jail sentences, long-term probationary periods, even for minors, especially for minors, giving them a longer sentence or harder penalty because it's going to work it right out of their system.
Mm-hmm. Especially when you're 17 years old. I was one of those kids where you could sit me in the corner and it really didn't teach me anything. You know what I'm saying? So, maybe not time, but definitely more hoops to jump through or something like that. Make it mentally hell. You can go being sit in the corner and you probably won't learn your lesson, but when you have to physically pay back the wrong that you've done to society, that's when it probably hurts a little bit more, in my opinion. I don't know. I've never sat in jail before.
Yeah, me either. But, like I've said on the last one with the 74-year-old man who the teenager broke into his house, where were the parents here?
And for the parents who want to rather be friends or kind of softer on their kids, there's a 17-year-old kid who's dead now because you didn't want to be hard on him. And unfortunately, it could have been a 17-year-old and a 40-year-old guy who are dead now because you didn't want to be hard on your kids.
Yeah.
So
like I always try to dive into what he did right and what he did wrong. And again, I feel like this is a very cut dry case. There's not really much to debate in this. He was attacked by somebody with a firearm who was demanding his car keys. He threw away his car keys. He didn't try to actively engage with him, and fight him away. He ran away from the system, or the situation at first. Obviously, the person continued to pursue him, so he pulled out his pistol and he used it in self-defense to defend his own life. And unfortunately, a 17-year-old's life was taken in the process. But again, he kind of put that on himself. He put himself in that situation. He pulled a gun on somebody, threatened to kill him, tried to steal his belongings. There's in the article, it says that there's going to be no charges pressed on the individual who was attacked, and there's also the surviving teenagers that were also involved in this. Even the third person that they picked up, there's going to be charges pressed against him. The one that was involved directly in the crime being at the scene, it says that they are going to be charged with armed robbery, even though that they did not pull the gun on the person. They were still at the scene with a firearm while a robbery was taking place, which falls under armed robbery.
Absolutely, man. And for all you younger people out there, if your buddy's got a gun and you're thinking that you're not going to get charged with a gun, y'all both committed a crime, so y'all both were protected under that same gun that he had.
Exactly.
So when you're sitting there in court and you're trying to figure out why y'all both got gun charges, is because y'all both did the same crime with that same gun.
Yes.
And I can only imagine how this other 17-year-old kid feels like while he's sitting in jail now, knowing that you just did something that got your homie killed. Like I could never forgive myself if you're for real friends. If this kid felt this way about him the way I do about y'all, you know, that would be devastating, knowing that I did something stupid that got my buddy killed.
Yep.
You know, in the moment it might not seem like that, but I'm sure in that cell it does.
And I'm hoping that this kid, who when he does his time, gets that wake-up call and he changes his life.
Props to the 48-year-old guy who did his thing. I really can't. I'll never fault anybody for using a weapon for self-defense, especially if you're outnumbered, outgunned, whatever the situation is. I've always had a problem with when somebody says run away from a situation. You're not fixing to outrun a bullet.
No.
I would feel more fear turning my back to somebody with a gun than I would, you know, trying to crouch down and, you know, take a defensive stance and try to fight back. So I think a lot of people don't think about that. It sounds easy to run away from a situation. It sounds easy to try to separate yourself, which this individual did. But at the same time, too, you're not just fixing to about face and turn your back to somebody with a gun.
Nope.
I wouldn't. I would try to do something like he did. Fling the keys, try to get some sort of a distraction, try to do something to give myself the upper hand, take aim or take position and try to fire back, for sure.
Well, guys, we want to thank you again for coming to another episode of Self-Defense Saturday. We really hope you enjoyed the story. Like I say every time, the link for the website where we get these stories, and there's a lot more detail, especially on this article and the last one that we just did on this website, Firearms Owners Against Crime. The link will be in the description. You definitely go check it out. It's got a lot more information than just that, and I think it'll do you well.
Guys, also let us go down in the comments below and let us know where you're at. Let us know what state you're coming from, and give us your opinions about these stories. Let us know what we're forgetting and stuff that you can pick out that we can't. And we want to hear y'all's opinions too, for sure.
Yep, and there's a link tree in the description down below where you can check all of our social medias and all of the content that we put out there. We're definitely putting quite a bit of content out there for you guys to be up to date on what we're doing and things going on with us, and up to date videos and stuff like that all across different platforms. But always remember, guys, who's got your six?
Videos come out about 4 o'clock on Friday afternoons. We try to get one every. Fuck me running.
That'd be difficult.
Guys, also don't forget to tune. God fucking damn it. Those videos come out every Friday. Me and Chris are at.
The cup didn't do anything to you.
I know, but it's the only thing that I can fucking take my anger out on. Me and Chris will be there Saturday morning at 10. 10. I love it. One more fucking time.
All right.
Fuck, do it live. All right. Guys, also don't forget to tune in to Ready, Aim, Live with Jose and Wes on Fridays. And on Saturday mornings at 10 o'clock, Self-Defense Saturdays comes out with me and my boy here. And we hope you're coming. God fucking damn it. All right.